Hi, sports fans. Welcome to the Ultimate Football Show, Episode 2. I'm your Commissioner Sway, guys. Joining me tonight on the podcast, we have Jersey Tank. What's going on, Jersey?
What up, what up?
And we are also joined by Rory Yaki, who goes by Rorbotron. Rory, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
You know, longtime member of the UFL. Glad to have you on the podcast. I know we've been trying to get you on here forever. Glad we could finally do it. I think it's just going to enhance the podcast that much, and I'm excited to go through it with you. So we do have a lot to go through, guys. Obviously, Man 13 has been released. UFL 4 is in full swing. From talking to everybody, there seems to be a pretty good buzz that I think we haven't really seen, in quite a while. Guys are excited about the game. And just how it plays, and we're going to talk about all that. I want to start the show talking about some new faces in the UFL 4. We have 3 brand new owners, and it's always nice to see new faces in the league. I think it just strengthens the league. You get some fresh blood in the league, and we have Ryan O'Shook, the Kansas City Chiefs GM, Hardy, the New Orleans Saints, and Johnny Rotten, the Houston Texans GM. Excited for all 3 of these guys. Hardy, Johnny have both been very active on the blast. Ryan Shook from the Chiefs owner actually called me on the phone to talk about getting a team. Just love to see stuff like that. So, it's excited to have those guys in the league. We also have some guys, back from the dead, if you will. Darn Good. Man in Motion, Outcast, Renard, glad to see Renard back in the league, and also kind of a last-minute change with Finns joining the league. So we have a lot of veterans in the league this year, a lot of guys back from UFL 1 and UFL 2 days. So it's excited to have these guys back in the league. So, there's definitely a buzz this year. I think you guys would agree. It's just I think it's going to be a good year. So we're going to talk about our thoughts on the game and the gameplay shortly, but I do want to take a moment to talk about our UFL 4th Hall of Fame class. I had 5 or 6 candidates on the forums for people to vote. We had SRC, Frank 2. Bombs, a couple of the veteran owners. We had Fode and Wright and Rays, and ultimately, when the dust settled, we had Fode and Wright and Rays joining the elite owners of UFL as Hall of Fame members. So, I do want to congratulate them, Fode and Wright and Rays, on this year's Hall of Fame class. Fode, obviously, everybody's heard the story with Fode. Joining the league, UFL 1, kind of cocky attitude back then. He ended up getting booted out of the league, and his name was attributed with getting booted from the league from then on. So, if you got Fode, it wasn't a good thing. So, and we actually call it Fo-Ed. So. But it came back next season. Really wanted to get into it. I'm all about second chances, so we gave him another shot, and he's done a great job for us. So it's great to have Fode, join in the Hall of Fame class. Also, Wright and Rays. I remember when Wright and Rays joined the league. Nobody really knew much about him. From scrimmages and whatnot, people knew he was pretty good at the game. And I was very excited to see how active he was. Not right from the get-go, but as he kind of grew with the UFL, how active he got. And, he's pretty much a mainstay on the AIM blasts, and also participating on the forums as well, helping new owners. And, very nice to see Wright and Rays develop, into such a great owner. He always was great at the game, but he lacked a little bit on the other side. But he's come a long way, and I think he's done a great job, well deserved. He's won a couple championships, so my hat's off to those 2 guys. Jersey, did you have anything you wanted to say about either of these guys, Fode or Wright?
Yeah, well, Fode and me had some battles. I'm real happy for him. Wright, I've known since like Madden 09, and he's a good dude, and I'm happy for him.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, again, Wright's been in the league. Both guys now have been in the league a few years. So, again, they're part of the family. So, Rory, anything you want to add? I know you and Fode are pretty close.
I don't care at all. They're both dicks.
Okay.
No. No, they're both good dudes that put in their time with the UFL, and we're both good. I actually voted for Fode because we jerk each other in background routinely on a weekly basis, I'd say. Wright, he's good for a instant messenger or hate test from time to time, but you know, I'm good with that because he's got the championship and nearly undefeated season. No, he did go undefeated, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So
yeah, he won. What was it? 37 in a row. Between 2 years, I believe it was.
Yeah, both deserving.
Yeah, I mean, again, hats off to those guys, and also SRC Bombs and Frank. You guys will get your call. We will do another Hall of Fame next season, and hopefully you guys will get your call up there. But not to take anything away from those guys, but Fode and Wright, stood out among the rest, and hats off to them. So. Guys, talking about the game and the gameplay, there's a lot to digest, obviously. Lots of stuff going on. CCM is, jam-packed. The gameplay is a lot different than Madden 12. Jers, you've had a lot of time with the game. What are your thoughts on the game? What's the biggest differences for you? What do you think is, makes it that much better for people this year as opposed to, previous games?
I think running the rock is different and takes some getting used to. I think running into all your blockers and all that. I think that it's just fun overall the way the game plays and how like lead passing and all that against zone coverage is nice. And the game is fun. Last year it was more. It hasn't been fun for a minute, at least just for me. And this year is they took it to a new level with, CC mode including, they added all the offline features. There's new, all the XP stuff is awesome. Like they just made the game way, way, way more fun, and the replay value is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it right on the net, hit the nail right on the head there. It's definitely a lot more fun. I mean. Just the way the game plays. Are you a fan of the running game? I mean, do you like the way that it handles? Yeah,
I love it. Yep.
I mean, it's definitely a risk reward. You hit the hole, you're gonna get the yards. If you get stuck or if you don't time your blocks, you're definitely could be a loss or what have you. But it's definitely. The game is definitely fun, and I think that's gonna hold a lot of owners and to continue to play the game, just because again it's enjoyable to play. Even in a loss, you can at least enjoy the actual gameplay of it. So I think it's they did a lot of things right. Obviously, there's a few things they have opportunities with. I'm sure we'll talk about those, but I think they did a lot of things right this year. So, Rory, you have any thoughts to add on that?
I mean, I haven't played the game as much as I would like to work, but the time that I have fun with the game, it is very solid. It feels like, because of the depth of the Jackie's career, that it gives me the feeling of like Madden 05.
Yeah.
Cut out a little bit. But it felt, I mean, I'm excited for the game like I was excited for the game I was playing Madden back in 05. All the smallest friends. Everybody got together. There's a ton to do. I mean, before we had a training camp that you run your players through, and you're not getting that, but you're getting a taste of it with the practice feature, addressing your players individually. The Jackie's career thing is just awesome. And once we have it all figured out, it's going to continue to improve. And the gameplay, as already touched on, is also very solid, especially the physics engine. I mean, running the guys and falling down is a welcome addition. It's crazy that the game's been around for as long as it has, especially next gen, and that's just now getting implemented. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've watched somebody run their running back into the back of the offensive line and just shift them all over until he breaks through and tear one off for 30 yards. Can't do it anymore. So
Yeah, good stuff,
Definitely
man.
nice.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, again, I think CCM mode is just awesome, and there's a lot of stuff there, and again, a lot of stuff that we didn't have in 12, as far as the salary cap, and I'm loving it, and I haven't really heard anybody dislike the XP thing. I mean, I think it adds a whole new level to the game. You can manually improve your players, how you see fit. They have, you can set your own scheme, which might be a little bit gimmicky, but again, it's just something that they've added. During the test CCM that Frank and I did, with how free agency's handled is awesome, and there's just a lot of information to digest, a lot of sections on the CCM, and even though the website's not fully functional right now, it is. There's a lot of stuff you can do. So it's just, I think for the most part, everybody's pretty pleased with it. Again, it's not perfect. There's some issues with it, but again, it's fun to play, and it's in depth. I think, and I just think that's going to hold a lot of people to want to continue to play it. I think the preseason, having that in there to build up your guys a little bit is pretty cool. Just the different, the cut days, and there's just so much new stuff to digest, and I just think that they did such a good job on it. Little stuff like missing menus and stuff like that is, something to be desired, but I think for the most part they got the stuff right. Obviously, as a commissioner, I wish they'd have a few more options that we could manage, such as manually changing caps and stuff like that, but I think for the most part everything runs pretty smooth. So I just think, my goal, like I've said before, my goal this year is to finish 6 seasons, and I really don't see why we can't do that. I mean, I think guys are engaged, and I think we're gonna be moving right along. So, talking a little bit about some changes to UFL 4, for some of you lax guys, you'll be happy to know, I know we no longer require the recap if you win your game. In the past Maddens, if you won a game, you had to do a recap. No questions asked. You had to do a recap to. And to be honest with you, I mean, I know a lot of guys didn't read them, but it's awesome to look back. Like now, to go back to UFL 3 and read through some of the recaps, and it's just great for historical purposes. But I don't think anybody really paid attention during the season. But again, we're trying to make things fun, and I just don't think that and a lot of times there was a lot of good effort that went into the recaps, and sometimes there wasn't. But but again, it's something that we decided we're gonna nix. We now we have, what is it called, Around the League, and basically what it is guys who have extra time or whatnot, they can go in, write an article, and just add content to the league. And then what we do is link that content to the website. So, and I was actually very encouraged today to see that there were, six articles just today posted. I mean, just in the preseason phase, I think we got about 15 articles on there, which is awesome. So, I mean, if we could just keep that going, I think that'll definitely add to the content level, and this way, again, we're not doing the recaps, but it's going to add to the content. So, please be patient, obviously, with with all the new systems and everything. There's a lot of new stuff going on, and I appreciate, Jersey and some of the guys on the Blast and that who have been helping out. Some of the guys that are a little bit confused, and but just if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask. But I will, say to make sure you check the forums first, because there's a lot of duplicated questions that we've answered on the forums and announcements and whatnot. So, sliders. There's been a lot of back and forth on some of the sliders. Jersey, what are your thoughts on the sliders? I mean, as they are right now, are you okay with them, or do you think we need to change them? Or
I like all the sliders. I think EA made the game and puts it for a reason. I know people are talking about the interceptions and all that, and they want to fix that. The only slider that I think you could mess with a little bit is the kicking, but even then, that's part of the game. That's the way they made it. You know, it makes it different from last year. It makes it more interesting. It makes it more like unique and shit. So I like it, but I think the sliders stay the same.
Okay. Now, by the same, you mean all the default settings, the
50?
Okay.
50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roy, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think there were any things that we needed to tweak? Obviously, if you've been paying attention, we did tweak the interceptions a little bit to 45. We did tweak the kicking to 40, just based on some of the more mediocre kickers who were hitting 50 plus field goals with not really any problems. But what are your thoughts there? Do you think we should just play with the default, or do you think there's things we need to address?
I mean, I think with the way it's set up now, if we do run into an issue and we're in the middle of the season, can't we theoretically just adjust it then? You know what I mean? I don't think the sliders are shut down once we start the season. So if we do run into an issue, we could always adjust it at that point in time. To be honest, unlike Jersey, haven't played the game enough to really, really comment because, like I said, it's work and not being home. But from what I've played so far, it seems pretty legit with the way we have things set at the present point in time. I do absolutely hate the kicking mechanic now because it just seems so inconsistent with like getting that straight up and down track with the analog stick. But at the same time, the way it was before was just too easy. Like X at the top and then X to whatever. So I don't know. But I've been missing field goals like crazy.
No, I mean, that's a good point, too. I mean, I don't believe the sliders are locked. I mean, I've changed them a few times, honestly. But, yeah, I mean, it's if I could compare it to anything, it's kind of like how NHL 12 was, where EA pretty much behind the scenes tweaked the sliders as they saw fit as they went on throughout the EASHL season. And so that's just kind of, I mean, again, yeah, we're going to learn a lot, in this first season. So I think that's just, I think playing the community games that we've played, I mean, we've had quite a few community games. We've kind of learned some stuff there. So I think we're doing our best to kind of head into the season with the right settings. Are they the right settings? Maybe not, but again, we've been so successful because we've adapted and we've made sure that we corrected any issues that we had, and then going forward everything is the way we want it. So again, and you guys have seen on the forums, we have the official sliders thread. We have the official sliders thread, and people can post their comments in there. We've always been an open league where, your comments are warrant. We want your comments. So, again, if you have any comments there, please post them on the forums. So, another thing, just to discuss is fourth downs. Now, we were talking a little bit before we started the podcast here about fourth downs. That's kind of been a little bit of a hot button. Basically, in the past, we have not allowed fourth downs are very limited on when offense can go for it. But I think we've seen, and Jersey, I think you'll agree with Man 13, it's a little bit more difficult to get those yards. Especially with some of the run commit options and whatnot. So, I mean, talking about the fourth downs, I mean, what do you think we need to change? Do we open them up? I mean, do we allow them in the within the 40 and the 20? I mean, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, if you're within the 10, like the red zone, that you should be able to go on fourth down regardless, because no matter what, your opponent has to drive down the field, so you're not really putting yourself in the worst position possible. So I think rules are put in to limit players from hurting themselves. So if they're within the 10, it's not really going to hurt them that bad. And if you're in no man's land where your kicker can't kick, I would say 54 to not 54, 35 to 40.
Right.
If you got in there and you don't think you can kick it, in the second half, you should be able to go for it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and again, we've been pretty restricted on what we've allowed. Just again, because you look back at Madden 11, even 10 and 11, 12. I mean, a fullback dive is going to get you 2 yards every time, and it pretty much was. It was pretty much where if you stop the guy 3 downs, you did your job. They got to punt the ball unless it's a fourth quarter situation where they have to go for it. But I mean, I can see I could see us allowing it. Possibly in the red zone. I don't know about within the 40. I mean, Rory, what are your thoughts on that?
Now, I know in previous leagues that I've been in, well, the one league in particular that I was in for a long time, it was always if you were over the 50-yard line and then it's like 4th and inches, which leaves a lot to be desired with even this league, which is more, well, I mean, they're probably about equally stemmed. Either way, my position is that you need to be realistic with your decisions on 4th down. However, as we see in the side chat, Dustin said that he disagrees with altering the 4th down rules because it is damn hard to stop somebody 3 times. And to stop them a 4th time, to stop them the 4th time is usually pretty damn hard. However, in this game, you can run into the lineman and fall down. The defensive linemen seem to get better penetration. That's a tough rule. Maybe the toughest rule we have in the league. Determines, like that sweet spot for the 4th down because it's so open to interpretation. It's like an ever-evolving thing. You can't make it black and white like you said before. It's just one of those things where it's going to be different almost every time.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I mean, I'm pretty proud of the rules we have. I mean, especially with the 4th down because again, it's a simulation. It's not exact. It's a simulation, and I think trying to be a sim community, we're pretty much rewarding the defense for playing good defense. And again, if they can't get it in 3 downs, I think in most cases they need to punt. Again, with the way the rules are in the 4th quarter, there are situations where they can go for it regardless. So I mean, I think right now the rules are still good, but if we had to open it up, maybe we can have a discussion and a vote or something. Maybe in the red zone, but I mean, again, I think it would still have to be 4th and 1 or 4th and inches. I think if it was anything more than that, 4th and 2, 4th and 3, I would still say they'd have to punt. I mean, that's
but obviously that's situational too. Like if it's the 4th quarter and you're down,
right,
4 points, you're going to go for it no matter what. And maybe like we talked about before we started the pod, like maybe the guy is coming down and scoring every single time that your defense is just shitting the bed. It's just tough. Like I have no problems. I think that the red zone is probably a good rule to implement. If they're in the red zone, it's 4th and inches, 4th and 1, at most 4th and 2, and you want to go for it, by all means, run the risk of going for it. But as Jersey said, if you go for it and you don't convert, it's not the end of the world. They still have to drive a majority of the way in the opposite direction. So.
Yeah. I mean, good discussion on it. I mean, obviously there'll be more to come. We'll talk more on it in the rules section and probably do a vote or something. Or I mean, I don't even know what we'd be voting on at this point anyway. We'd have to get a couple of clear options first, and then we could we can vote on that. But more to come on that. But again, guys, it's our league. It's not just one guy's league. It's our league, and we make the rules for the majority, and if it's something everybody feels passionate about, then we're gonna roll with it. So. That's just a little bit stuff there, guys. As far as the general rules, guys, not really much there. We did take away some of the older stuff, like the 2-screen limit. We took that out of there. Now, granted, I mean, if you're playing a guy and he's run 3 screens on you, we're starting to get into the repetitive mode here. Obviously mixing up play calling is just part of being sim, and you shouldn't be playing somebody or you shouldn't be running 3-4 screens a game. unless absolutely necessary. I mean, I couldn't see any situation where you'd have to run 3 of them. It's just, but we did take it out of the rule book. But again, mixing up play calling is still part of being a sim owner, which is the basic expectation for being in the league. So, guys, owner expectations heading into season 1. Again, we don't ask a whole ton from the owners, just to be, responsible owners, to be sim owners, to be, show courtesy to your fellow owners, and stay active. I mean, it's just, it's very disheartening with the amount of work that we put in when we see, somebody that's a part of the league that hasn't been on the forums in 2 weeks. I mean, that's just doesn't show any dedication to the league. And, there's a good chance this person's in other leagues, and all they care about is playing the games. And obviously the games are a big part of it, but the reason the UFL's lasted so long is because of the extra stuff that we've done. Anybody can open up a league and play the games, but we've done a lot of the extra stuff. And you guys, on the podcast have helped a lot with that. Jersey has. I mean, but but again, staying active on the forums, guys. That just shows us that you're paying attention, listening. Even if we post a league announcement and, you reply, read and understood, or, ask a question if you have a question, or just so that we know that you're on the forums, that you're reading the threads and adding where you can. Such as in the around the league, guys. That's not the around the league isn't just for your team. You can write an article about anybody. If the big trade went down, maybe you want to give your 2 cents on it. Maybe you want to interview somebody. Maybe somebody had a big free agent pickup. You want to comment on it. Anything. It doesn't just have to be about your team. So, and then again, staying active on the Aim Blast, guys. We have the Aim Blast. It's a nice tool. We have the Mumble now too, but we have the Aim Blast just for text chatting. It's a great tool for anybody that's on the computer to chat. And again, that's just another. We see you on there talking to people, then we don't worry about how dedicated you are to the league, or if you're still around or what, because we know that you're still involved. So. Just those few things there. I mean, that just goes a long way. So, as we, if you guys have been paying attention to the schedules, a lot of the announcement threads coming down, as far as preseason, guys, how like Jersey, what do you think so far as off season's going? I mean, do you think there's anything we need to change, or do you think we're pretty much on the right path?
I think we're on the right path as far as, giving us a day to get all the checklists done. Like, I got mine done in 5 minutes, but for everybody to get it done, I think, the time frame you're giving us is good.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, I think giving, everybody 24 hours is fair, just because obviously people, work and do other stuff. So, I think it worked out perfectly with where we want to start, with games starting Sunday, because we're going to have that, week 4 preseason on Saturday and then head right into games on Sunday. So I think it's going to work out perfectly. And then, free agency, I think, we did the claims. Some other leagues have done like snake drafts and stuff like that, but I mean, I thought ours worked pretty good. I mean, we had the claims, and, we had the time set, and everybody got on, and I think we had almost 40 claims, so that was pretty cool. That worked out pretty good. So, just continue to follow the league checklist, guys. And again, just getting on the forums daily, checking the announcements, checking what's going on, and asking questions if you have any. I mean, to be honest, there were guys that didn't even know that free agency was going on. And I mean, there's if you're getting on the boards every day, you're going to know all that stuff. So, that's pretty much all I got for right now. Jersey, did you have anything to add?
I just wanted to, guys, reiterate that you got to be careful when you go into practice because you're not going to get more than one shot at it. That's it.
I wish when you use the practice feature that scenario would go away. Like the next week when you advance, it's gone. Like I did the 1800 easy one twice. Like, why would I do anything different? Unless it indicates, that like there's a certain XP distribution when you finish it. Like the one, I don't understand. Like you go into the harder ones and it says, this XP is good for just you, but not your teammates. So that only goes to the coach. Like I don't know, it's just weird. But it's awesome at the same time. I'm glad that PC's in there. And to go back to what you were saying, I mean, the message board is the lifeblood of the league. Like, if you're not on there, you might as well not be in the league because you miss out on everything.
Yeah, and again, I mean, just between the blast and the forums, I mean, there's really no information that hasn't been discussed. I mean, there's guys constantly on the blast that can help people out and answering questions, and again, the forums, I try to make sure that everybody knows exactly what's going on, so that there's no questions at all about where we are in the league, and so people know exactly. And honestly, it's going to be very important with the amount of stuff that has to be done, as far as practices and cuts and all sorts of stuff like that. It's going to be very important that the advance times are in stone, so people know that exactly when the league's going to advance. Because if there's just too much stuff with like I said, with the practices, and you got to cut guys. We're signing guys. There's just way too much. So. That's it. That's pretty much it for now, guys. We just want to do this little episode to kind of get everybody rolling a little bit. We are going to be doing UFL episode, the Ultimate Football Show episode 3. We will be doing in a few days. We're going to pretty much start our weekly wrap up where we discuss the games and make some predictions. So that's going to be pretty exciting. I'm excited to get the league started. I think the guys are having a lot of fun with the preseason and the community games. I've seen a lot of community games going on, so that's great. Guys playing each other. So that's good stuff. So, we're gonna wrap this one up. I want to thank Jersey for being on the podcast. Thanks for coming on, man.
No doubt, bro. It's always a pleasure.
And Rory, I don't know how we got you on here, but you got on, man.
I'm going to try to make a more regular appearance.
So, yeah, I mean, again, this kind of stuff adds to the league, and I like to talk about it honestly, vocally, and again with the regular show where we will be discussing what's going on in the league. There's just going to be so much to talk about. With the upcoming week and the previous week and transactions and which owner we booted this week, and so more to come there, guys. But thanks for listening. This is your commissioner Sway signing out. Thanks for listening, guys.